Take two.
That's all, folks. What's up, guys? Matt with Average Bros here, and welcome to Average Bros Tour Guide Service. We're gonna spend the day trolling around Washington, D.C., so we'll go to some of the more famous monuments that I'm sure you guys have heard about: Washington Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, Iwo Jima, World War II. At all the monuments, we'll share some facts about, you know, what they were built for, when they were built, why they were built, and then throw in some facts that you may not have heard of about some of these historic places. So stay tuned, check it out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is 16 degrees here. Awesome way to start the day, especially for someone like me. It's from California, SoCal, bro. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, where's the snow at? I was up at Big Bear last weekend. It was 50 degrees, and there's snow everywhere. So it does not make sense to me. But whatever. It's gonna be a good day. All right, so our first stop today brings us to Arlington National Cemetery. A few quick tips, so you know before you go. You do need to have a state ID in order to get into the cemetery. It's free of charge. However, you either need a valid government ID or a passport to get in. We did see some people getting turned away for not having their ID. In addition to that, if you do want to check out the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier or JFK's burial site, be prepared to walk a little bit. I'd say it's about a 25 minute walk in order to get to either one of those, up some rolling hills. So just be prepared to walk. If you don't want to walk, they do offer a tour bus service for about $15, and then some discounts in there for military personnel, children and seniors as well. So the cemetery itself was established during the Civil War on the grounds of the Arlington House, which ended up in the hands of Robert E. Lee during the Civil War. The cemetery covers over 624 acres and has roughly 400,000 graves. So right now we're headed up to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and then we're gonna go check out where John F. Kennedy was buried. So what you're about to see at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is the changing of the guard, which happens every hour on the hour. Prestigious billet, very impressive to watch. You have to be quiet up there, so from here on out, no talking, you'll just see the video of what you get to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Corporal McKee of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of the ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Thank you. Forward! Halt! Guards! Halt! Halt! Arms! Ready! Face! Present! Arms!
So as you walk up to the JFK burial site, you can see a real awesome view of the whole DC area. Once you get up the hill, it's a real good lookout onto the Washington Memorial and even the Capitol building. So a real awesome experience if you get to come to Arlington. Definitely recommend it. We got to see everything we wanted to see. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, JFK burial site. Next up, we're headed to Capitol Mall. So we're actually taking a quick stop at the Marine Corps War Memorial, or Iwo Jima Memorial, just because it's right next to Arlington, easy to get to, 5-minute drive. So if you go check out Arlington, recommend coming here as well. So the War Memorial is one of the first memorials built honoring U.S. veterans after World War II. It was dedicated November 10th, 1954, which also happens to be the Marine Corps birthday. It stands at 78 feet tall and cost about $850,000 to build. On the front, you can see the quote that says, "Uncommon valor was a common virtue." That was stated by Admiral Nimitz in World War II. You see this place in pictures all the time, but it doesn't do it justice. You gotta be right up there next to it. So while we're waiting for our lunch, we're gonna check out the United States Navy Memorial. Nothing big, nothing too fancy, but they have flags up for all the military branches. And you walk up into the middle here, actually on the outsides, they have these really cool like molded graphic designs on the side talking about like all the different jobs of the Navy. Real cool. On the bottom they have a real big globe. It's kind of the centerpiece with a statue of a sailor over here. And then if you walk over to the side, they actually have a building, the actual visitor center, which we'll go check out. Pretty small, but some cool stuff to see down there too. Headed to the Vietnam Memorial. So now we're at the Vietnam War Memorial. The memorial was built to honor U.S. service members that served and died in Vietnam. It has a wall with the names of over 58,000 U.S. dead and missing soldiers. So now we're standing in between the Lincoln Memorial behind me and the reflecting pool. So first we're gonna check out the Lincoln Memorial, then we'll come back down here, show you a little bit more in depth about the pool. Quick fun fact about this whole area, in the 1960s, this is actually where Forrest Gump delivered a speech in front of a lot of anti-war protesters. So a lot of people don't really know that. So this is walking up to the Lincoln Memorial. Up top it says, "In this temple, as in the hearts of the people, for whom we saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever." So this memorial was dedicated in May 1922. Little unknown fact is that Lincoln actually had a chair just like that he used to sit in all the time. So that's why they created the statue to look just like that. On the wall on the west side, it looks like we have an inscription of Lincoln's second inaugural speech. And on this wall, we have the Gettysburg Address.
Oh, look, there's like slaves. Maybe it's like...
So here's a close-up look at the reflective pool. If you notice, this is actually where Jenny so rudely interrupted Forrest Gump's speech, and she jumped into the water, and they met there in the middle, and it was a happy day. Now we're approaching the Korean War Memorial. This memorial was dedicated in 1995. So there are 19 soldier statues, and when reflected on the wall behind them, that number creates 38, representing the 38th parallel separating North and South Korea. And they got this. Alright, so as you approach the end of the reflective pool, you come up to the World War II Memorial. On one side you have the Pacific Pillar, on the far side you have the Atlantic Pillar. If you look closely, each of the wreaths on the pillars around the outside represent one of each of the 50 states. This monument was completed in 2004, obviously dedicated to those that served in World War II. Now we're here in the wintertime, but typically if you came here in the summertime, there'd be a fountain in the middle. Most of these monuments, they take all the water out in the wintertime just to avoid anything freezing over. Little fun fact about the monument, there's a hidden little Kilroy was here. For those of you that don't know who Kilroy was, he looks like this. And he became like kind of a graffiti type emblem that US service members and British service members started graffitiing or sketching onto walls over in theater. And so they decided to add it into the monument here. It's pretty cool. See if you guys can see. If you look for one of these golden gates, look behind, you'll see Kilroy. Kilroy was here. So as you can see, we made it to the Washington Memorial. A few facts about the memorial. Construction started in 1848 and wasn't completed until 1884, so nearly 40 years after they started building it is when they completed it. The tower itself stands at 555 feet, and in more recent history, actually a few years ago, the elevator on the inside actually suffered a catastrophic failure, and Spider-Man came and he saved a lot of lives that were inside that elevator that day. So yeah, just a lot of history here. Wow, would you look at that? It's just so tall. So much history. We ended up hitting 9 monuments in 9 hours, so overall pretty successful day. All right, so that is a wrap for our monument / memorial tour today. Hope you enjoyed the video and got some useful information out of it. Again, thanks for watching with the Average Bros Tour Guide Service. What's up? Look at the
Take two.
That's all, folks.